Welcome back to the channel. It was an early spring morning in Washington, D.C., and the neighborhood surrounding the Obama family home was unusually peaceful. A soft breeze drifted through the trees, stirring the new leaves and carrying the faint scent of dew settling over the garden. Inside, Barack Obama enjoyed a rare moment of stillness. He had just finished his morning coffee and stood by the wide kitchen window, watching the small garden Michelle had lovingly cared for over the years. For a man who had once lived by a relentless schedule, these quiet mornings had become a treasured luxury, time to breathe, reflect, and appreciate that life after the presidency offered a different kind of fulfillment. But the calm shifted with the familiar chime of his phone. He glanced at the screen and immediately smiled. It was a video call from Malia. Even after watching his daughters grow into confident, independent young women, something inside him always warmed whenever their names appeared on his phone. He answered the call expecting an update about her work, or maybe a funny story from her latest adventure in Oregon. Malia's face appeared, bright as always, but Barack instantly noticed something different, a quiet, glowing excitement in her eyes. It was the same look she used to get as a little girl whenever she had something important to tell him. They exchanged their usual playful banter, teasing each other about everything from music to cooking disasters. But then Malia's tone shifted. She took a small, steadying breath. "Dad," she began softly. "I have something to tell you, and I wanted you to hear it first." That gentle seriousness made time slow. Barack felt a small flutter in his chest as he waited. "I'm expecting a baby," she said at last, her smile widening with joy and just a touch of nervousness. For a moment, the whole room seemed to pause. The morning light, the distant city sounds, even the birds outside, all of it felt suspended. Memory after memory flickered through Barack's mind in a rush: her first day of kindergarten, her teenage years filled with laughter, her college graduation, all the moments that had shaped her into the woman she'd become. His reaction was simple, pure, and immediate. "Wow," he whispered, followed by a soft laugh. That's wonderful, honey." Relief washed over Malia's face, and together they talked about her health, her plans, and the excitement she and her partner felt stepping into this new chapter. Barack listened carefully, offering encouragement and reassurance in that calm, steady way only a father can. After the call ended, he stood by the window again, letting the moment settle around him like warm sunlight on still water. Her words replayed in his mind, simple, joyful, life-changing. He felt deeply grateful. Grateful that she had trusted him with her news before anyone else. Grateful that she had still looked to him for comfort, even as an adult building her own life. His mind drifted through memories of her childhood, her tiny footsteps echoing through White House hallways, her first piano recital, the day she left for college and he stood outside long after her car disappeared. Every moment felt sharper now, knowing she was stepping into motherhood. Then he thought of Michelle. She needed to know. He pictured her jogging through the neighborhood, earbuds in, lost in her morning rhythm. He imagined the joy that would light up her face when she heard the news. By the time Michelle returned from her run, Barack was radiating excitement. "You look like you've got something to tell me," she teased, wiping cool morning air from her jacket. "I do," he replied, smiling. "And you might want to sit down for this." When he told her, Michelle's eyes widened, then softened into a glowing smile. He had seen her happy many times in their life together, but this was different. It was the kind of joy that fills a room without a single word spoken. They stood there for a long, quiet moment, letting the truth sink in. Their family was growing. Afterward, Barack wandered through the house, each room stirring a memory. The soft ticking of the hallway clock carried him back to nights filled with bedtime stories and whispered goodnight kisses. He paused at the family photo wall, studying the images that chronicled Malia's journey from a giggling child to the poised young woman who had just announced life-changing news. There she was on her first day of kindergarten, tiny backpack, bright sneakers, nervous smile. There she was in Hawaii, chasing waves while Sasha built sandcastles. There she was at a campaign rally, holding a homemade sign with pride. He remembered reading her favorite books with exaggerated voices, making her laugh until she lost her place. He remembered teaching her to ride a bike, running beside her until she steadied herself. He remembered how she grounded him during the chaos of public life, asking honest questions that always pulled him back to what mattered most. Michelle joined him at the photo wall, slipping her hand into his. "Remember this one?" she said, pointing at a photo of Malia holding a campaign sign. Barack smiled at the memory. Together they reminisced about late-night kitchen dances, backyard basketball games, quiet walks after official dinners, moments far more meaningful than speeches or headlines. And as the morning turned toward afternoon, Barack felt a peaceful certainty settle over him. Becoming a grandfather didn't replace old memories. It added new ones, another thread in the fabric of their family story. That evening, the house filled with familiar voices. Sasha arrived first, flowers in hand and suspicion already in her grin. She had felt something in Barack's earlier call. When Malia walked in, excitement filled the air. They gathered around the dinner table, the aroma of Michelle's slow-roasted chicken wrapping the room in warmth. Conversation flowed effortlessly at first, until Malia reached for Sasha's hand. "I have something to share," she said, steady and calm. "I'm going to have a baby." The room exploded with joy, laughter, cheering, chairs scraping as everyone rushed to hug her. Sasha wiped tears from her eyes. Michelle wrapped both daughters in her arms. Barack stood back for a moment, soaking it all in. In their faces he saw every step of his journey as a father: diapers, homework nights, proud front-row moments, long talks about kindness and responsibility. "You have no idea how proud I am," he finally said. "Not just because of this news, but because of who you've become. The world is lucky to meet this child." Malia smiled softly. "I learned from the best," she said, glancing at her parents. They spent the night sharing memories, imagining the future, debating baby names, and telling stories that filled the home with warmth. Outside, the city hummed under a velvet sky. Inside, the Obama family's laughter blended into a kind of music. The next morning, Barack stood again in the quiet kitchen, sunlight spilling across the floor. The excitement of the previous night echoed in his thoughts, but a new feeling had arrived too. He pictured small hands gripping his finger during a walk. He imagined reading stories, giving gentle advice, teaching kindness. He imagined driveway basketball games, tiny sneakers bouncing beside him as the family cheered. Later, on the back porch, he and Michelle talked about the future. She teased him about becoming Grandpa Barry, already imagining him sneaking the child off for ice cream and storytelling marathons. He laughed because she was absolutely right. But beyond the jokes, they both felt the deeper truth. Becoming grandparents wasn't just a new chapter. It was a chance to pass down love, wisdom, and the values that held their family together. And with that, the story continued, growing, expanding, carrying the legacy of love into a new generation.